Morning. August 1st. It's August 1st already. 2016 County Commissioners meeting will now be called to order. And at first glance here, we'll call on Commissioner Larry Lancaster for our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Pray with me. As we gather for this meeting, may we be guided by wisdom and love and the abiding presence of your Spirit. Wisdom teaches us about what is truly important and gives us the courage to do what is right. Love reminds each of us that our passion is not for those that we think deserving, but for all who are in need. Spirit empowers us to recognize the ways in which we are blessed to build a community that is characterized by joy, creativity, and a spirit of service working together as one. May we as a people rid ourselves of anger and rage and malice and slander and hate and prejudice. May today be the time we set aside the past and present setbacks and failures as we collectively look forward with a renewed faith and confidence to a new day of unity filled with hope and dreams that come from a place called tomorrow as we seek your grace and your blessings. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Got it?
I got it. Thank you.
It's good to be back. We've had a little break here, and everybody looks refreshed and ready to go to work. So we'll get started. First order of business will be to recognize the Cumberland County Information Services Department for receiving 5th place in the population category. And I had the privilege of receiving that award on behalf of the county, but now I'm going to give it to the people who really deserve it. And so if you'll step forward, I'm going to meet you down at the podium. Just line up somewhere. It's not often that we get to give a national award to our staff and employees. In fact, in my memory, I don't remember one, and I don't think any of us up here do. There may have been some in the past, but I'm especially proud that I was able to be a part of this one, and as far as I know, it's the only one that I'm aware of. Once again, but in our category, which is the 250,000 to 499.99, under 500,000 population category, Cumberland County received 5th place, and that's 5th place out of a lot of counties this size, and it was our first attempt to do this, so this is particularly special. The Digital County Survey Award is conducted annually in partnership with NACO to recognize leading examples of counties using technology to improve services and boost efficiencies. And I won't read all of this, but Cumberland County launched a business intelligence initiative in 2015 to proactively seek opportunities to increase efficiencies, improve operations, enhance customer service, and ultimately reduce costs to the county. And again, with all the things going on in Cumberland County, it's good to know that we are in the top tier in the nation in our size category, and there were just a couple others from North Carolina, nobody else in our size category, but a couple of smaller counties won similar awards, and it was nice to know that when I got up to take this one, they did them in size. They did the small ones first on up to the biggest ones, and when I got up to accept this award, the people from the rest of the state were clapping hard for us, and that was a good feeling. You know, we had Cabarrus County out there. Fred McClure was in there on behalf of his county, but they were all cheering for us, and I was happy about that. It made me very, very proud of our county and of our IT department. So without further ado, That's a pretty nice little award. You guys can put that on the wall somewhere, put it on your bragging wall, and, let's just come over and get a picture. Who gets this? Okay, you get this. Everybody else come stand around us as best you can. Let's just do that. Okay. Get where you want to go. And smile.
Just want to say a few words. We're certainly honored to have this award, and I'm certainly proud of the Information Services Department for their commitment, hard work, and dedication they provided over the past year, and look forward to what the future holds. And however, I do want to say that this award is truly reflective of the entire county, the efforts of the entire county, not just the Information Services Department. So I want to especially extend gratitude to them for their to the county departments for all of their hard work and dedication, commitment to us, and to their partnership. Especially want to extend a word of gratitude to the management staff and county commissioners for your service and dedication and commitment to the Technology Services Department and the technology initiatives that we have before us, and we certainly appreciate that. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Oh.
I was going to ask, because this is televised, and this is such a great award for our county that we need to celebrate and tell our story. If you could, just tell a little bit about the goals and the purpose, just a real condensed thing, so people who don't know what that is about, the initiatives we're taking in Cumberland County to be more efficient.
Okay. I can certainly speak to that. And I've actually got some information here as well to go over. One of the things that the county realized, I think, early last fiscal year, we identified that we had a clear need to streamline operations, to create a leaner, more efficient, more effective organization. And as a part of that, we identified the need to define core functions and services, and continue seeking ways to streamline service delivery. And a part of that is delivering processes and emphasizing technology as a means to enhance customer service. And that's customer services internal and external to information services. So a part of that, we created a new division to concentrate on our business intelligence initiatives. And as a part of that, the main focus was to be proactive, strategic, and forward-thinking in our process development. And the part of that was to drive enterprise development through a comprehensive business analysis and create a critical business intelligence partnership with all the counties. And so that's one of the more focuses that we have in our department today.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, don't they need to come around and shake everybody's hand?
And Mr. Chairman, and I know that he explained that really well, but I think at the bottom line is this community, through the county manager and through this department, has become more efficient, and in terms of the finances that we use for the citizens of this community, we are just, in terms of making sure that they're used in the best manner and the best practices, and the amount of money that has been saved by this. And I think that's what the citizens of this community want to know. I understand they understand the processes, but at the end of the day, this county government brings a high level of achievement to this county. And I think you're to be applauded, and management's to be applauded. And this is cutting edge. And we were out there, and a lot of those other counties were envious of the position that we were in the first time up. To get this kind of award is just unprecedented. So thank you for allowing me to say that, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, again, we salute you. And I mentioned Fred McClure. Most of the people up here know him. Most of you in the audience probably do not. He is a Davidson County Commissioner, but he will be installed next month as the president of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. So I was very proud to have him in the audience when we got this award. Anybody else have a comment?
Just one more. I remember when this came up as a result of an initiative by the manager. and I had absolutely no idea what you were talking about whenever you started talking about that. And then to have a department completely that's already devoted to so many things, but to take on this initiative is amazing. And so often we don't hear about county government doing more with less in this kind of manner, using these techniques. But I know that you all are good at what you do, fantastic at what you do, and we are proud. I remember when you were just a little boy.
Whoa, I didn't go there.
That was last week, right?
But
I don't know what that's got to do with it, because I remember when I was a little boy.
But anyway, it's just amazing to me. Have we submitted it for the state? We have?
Yes,
Melissa
ma'am.
says yes.
Okay, very, very good. Now, I want all of them to come around
Yeah,
here,
that's what they're going to do. Any other comments?
please.
Okay. Everybody come around and shake our hands, please. Get another photo op.
Okay, all right. We expect. Somebody who's working efficient, be efficient, right? And congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I remember Jimmy Kim
You guys trying to cut us out?
Move down a little. I got some secret.
Close the gap. Thank you. You have to do it here too.
That's why we put the most photogenic people on the end of the bit. I don't know why we did that.
You in practice.
That's right, that's right. I'll read it when I get home today.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next item of business is approval of agenda. Ms. Manager,
At this time, there are no changes.
no changes. Do I have a motion for approval of the
moved.
agenda? Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, item number 2 is a presentation this morning by Alba Polanki. She's with Sustainable Sandhills. The presentation is Weather Ready Sandhills, Sustainable Resource Management for Resilient Communities. Welcome, Ms. Polanki.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mrs. Cannon, and thank you guys, Board of Commissioners, for having us here to speak on this important topic. Weather-ready sandhills and sustainable resource management, it's really about proactive versus reactive planning and climate-resilient communities. So as Ms. Cannon mentioned, I'm Alba Polanki, Sustainability Manager for Sustainable Sandhills, and that is a small environmental nonprofit based right here out of Fayetteville. I think some of you are familiar with it and know the Executive Director, Anna Herrenwright. We're just a quick, brief history about Sustainable Sandhills. We were formed in 2003 out of a partnership with Fort Bragg and then NC Department of Environmental and Natural Resources. And we have a very broad mission in sustainability with initiatives in green business, green schools. We work a lot with youth and youth farm tours to develop our sustainable farming practices and a lot of other different initiatives. What I want to tell you about today, well, here's a brief outline. So our climate planning process overview for last year. I want to briefly highlight priority weather-related risks and existing conditions of concern, go over the strategic adaptation plan, just very brief highlight, and the Weather Ready Sandals forums, which have already begun this year. There's 2 more for you guys to attend later if you want, and then talk about some opportunities for involvement. So our planning process last year, this is climate adaptation planning process. The name of the program was called Climate Solutions University, and it was a 10-month long-distance learning program. We partner with a very diverse group of organizations within the community, all with a different mission, different goals, but with a common understanding that our natural resources are very important to protect, and that there are certain weather-related risks that we are facing as a community, as a region, that place additional challenges on our way of life here and on our economic development. These are kind of the 4 main phases that we went through during this planning process, and some of those planning partners included Fort Bragg Department of Public Works, the Fayetteville PWC, the Cape Fear River Assembly, and a few representatives from the city of Fayetteville. Let's see. So just a quick scope of the geographic region that we focused on, the Cape Fear River watershed as a whole, because water has no boundaries, but we definitely focused our research a little bit more in Cumberland County specifically. And then this is just sort of an example of some of the tools that we use to conduct our risk analysis. And we focused on kind of the weaknesses and the strengths of the community, but also how changing weather patterns might place additional stresses on our quality of life here. This was what's called an ecosystem services assessment tool, where we looked at different benefits that the natural environment provides us. So for example, primary biomass production provides us services in terms of the quality of the soil in our farmland to produce profitable crops. So that's just a quick example of one of the tools that we use for the risk analysis. And then as a result of this climate planning process, we created the Cumberland County Climate Resiliency Plan, and just wanted to kind of toot our own horn a little bit. The North Carolina chapter of American Planning Association just recently awarded us the a special award in multidisciplinary planning efforts, which is really really the way that comprehensive planning should be done in the future. There's, all of these problems don't have a one-way solution. There's not one sector that can solve it in a more comprehensive way. We really have to take multidisciplinary efforts to address some of the issues that I'm going to highlight for you here in a second. So there's a lot of information to cover. It's all in that resiliency plan, which I hope to give to you guys at a later meeting. But just real quick highlights. In terms of temperature, these were data points that were taken from the Raleigh Climate Center office. 30-year span shows just a slight increase in temperature, and the projections for this, scientific projections, are that temperatures are going to continue to increase, and we're going to experience more heat waves like the one we just saw, what we're experiencing right now, but last week, where the Spring Lake town manager had to ensure that people that water bills hadn't been paid could still have access to water, even though their bills weren't paid because it was so hot outside. Drought is the second weather-related risk that we talk about in the resiliency plan. So again, a 30-year span of water levels, it's particularly during the summer months. Projections are that the summer months will get hotter, and potentially we'll see less rain during the summer months specifically, and wetter winters. And so this has been the trend, and the state projections support that this will continue to be the trend. In terms of severe weather, the projections for severe weather get a little bit more varied. They're not as certain, but you can see North Carolina here just because of where we're placed geographically, because of the winds from the coast and the mountains on the west side. We just experienced a lot of severe weather events, and you can see here number of events that cost us $1 billion in terms of damages, and we're at the very high end of that scale. And then the fourth one is heavy downpours relating to just heavy rains over 1 inch falling within a short period of time. I just saw in the news Baltimore has some serious damage, 6 inches of rain in just a matter of short amount of time. And so we're, again, projections for heavy downpours a little bit less confident, but still projected to experience more of these heavy downpour events. And then just some of the associated impacts, and I tried to combine these into sort of three major industries, or three major industries, but this is definitely not the only industry that will be affected by weather-related impacts. And it's important to keep in mind that these weather-related risks, can happen in a compounding way, so that heat and drought are very often linked together, and so you can experience some of these impacts together, and it's a much uglier picture. So forest and agriculture, less ability to do prescribed burning, which is very important here in our habitat. Growth interruptions in terms of both agriculture, but also longleaf pine ecosystem. Heat and drought, we might tend to see more pests and diseases that would affect us, the forest and agriculture. In terms of water, well, I'll talk about the projections in the next slide, but the concern is heavy downpours and heat just creating more hypoxic conditions where there's less oxygen. You're more likely to get like algae blooms and different types of contaminants. And then in terms of social economic development, just talking about the ability to provide electricity, especially during peak demand, and public health and safety, where there's some vulnerable populations in the county that we believe are more disproportionately affected by some of the risks associated with these weather-related concerns. All right, and then existing aspects of concern, so not necessarily related to the weather. Again, I tried to lump this into the three main categories. So the first on forest and agriculture land, over 64% of the county, as you guys probably know, is classified as working lands, and that's either agricultural or forested land. And the reason why this is an aspect of concern is because just the forest land itself, which is about 30% of Cumberland County, equates to about $38 million worth in ecosystem services, and that's in things like raw timber, recreation, water filtration, and pollination. And this is a very unique and natural resource that is important to protect. And currently, there's some room for improvement in our development practices, both in terms of building codes, but in terms of how much we protect in our forest and agricultural land that we believe present an aspect of concern given other factors that will place additional stress. So again, in for drinking and potable water, this is just a graph starting from 1982 on over to 2013, and it shows just a very slight decreasing trend in the flow of water at the Lillington gauge. This was a graph provided to us by PwC. So this places concerns in terms of upstream development and upstream increased use for water. There's an interbasin water transfer that was approved that I'm sure most of you are aware of, and projections are that population will continue to increase at a very dramatic rate in counties above us, not necessarily here in Cumberland County, but above us. And so the use of that water above and below where we stand here is really important to consider. And then for social equity and economic development, we just really think comprehensive planning, which is one of the items listed here on the City of Fayetteville's top policy priorities, it really would be a missed opportunity to not look at some of the weather-related risks that may impact our quality of life, and that really should be considered into comprehensive planning efforts. So I know I might be short on time here. I'm going to try and wrap it up. There's a strategic adaptation plan that's part of the resiliency plan that we put together, and that is available online as well. But the main focus here with that strategic adaptation plan, it's got 5 different strategies, but it's sustainability with a triple bottom line approach, and the understanding that none of these elements can thrive if the other is not doing well. So as a community, I look at the emblem up here, out of many, one. It's really about comprehensive planning and understanding that we're only as strong as our weakest link. So if our natural environment is polluted, or if it's not being managed sustainably in a way that it can be replenished, then we can't thrive as a community. And the same goes for healthy communities in terms of socioeconomic aspects. If there's vulnerable populations that are not that are being disproportionately affected, that we're not considering well, then as a community we really can't thrive. And in economic vitality, it's, if we don't have a varied and a stable economy, then we can't thrive as a community and as a whole. Let's see. The 5th strategy in the adaptation plan is really one just about continuous improvement and revision of different policies, different plans of the strategic adaptation plan itself, to make sure that what we're doing is working, and if it's not working, that we adapt to make sure that it works. So I'll wrap it up real quick. Weather Ready Sandhills Forums is an education initiative that we've started this year. The next slide has the 4 dates that we will do these in the different sections of the county that we're doing. It's really just an outreach and an education effort for the public and for anyone to come. We have different speakers talk about these weather-related lists in a more in-depth manner. And then we have a very nice, engaging discussion session where people in the community can tell us their concerns. We'll be putting together a short-term work plan this year that will outline the priority areas we want to focus on next year. We're also working with Scott Schuford, the City of Fayetteville Planning and Code Services Director, to create a resiliency element that we can integrate into the comprehensive plan for the city. And then we would really like to schedule at some point a working lunch meeting with you guys so that we can go into depth a little bit more about the research. There's a lot to cover, and it's doesn't do it justice here in 5 minutes. So this is the Weather Ready Sandals Forums. As I said, we've had 2 already focusing on flooding when water strikes, and then It's Hot in the City we just did in Spring Lake. And then the other 2 water-wise will be on drought and weathering the storm about severe weather events. And this information is all online if anybody would like to attend. I don't know why this slide showed up twice, but that's it. Thank you for your time. I would love to take any questions.
I don't have a question at this time, but I was just thinking about something that John Maynard Keynes said one time. He was an economist, of course, and he got tired of hearing economists say in the long run this and in the long run that. So he said, in the long run, we're all dead. But in fact, this thing will be more and more of an issue as time goes on and the planet gets hotter. And so we thank you for being ahead of this curve and keeping us aware. And these meeting dates, the side's not up there now, but the next one's on August 30th in Stedman about, there you go, Water-wise Community.
Yes, sir, on drought.
And then August 27th, the weather and storm in Eastover. When it's coming down in buckets outside in the summer, here we don't think too much about drought, but I just came from a place, and Glenn and I both just came from a place where it hadn't rained in 2 months. And there were 6 major fires burning across that state when we left, and the one in Los Angeles County burned, the last I heard it was burning 38,000 acres, and it was about 50% contained at that time. Fortunately, it was not a real populated area, but it was still an area, part of the ecosystem. So, you know,